What's going on, everybody? It's another Panthers video here, brought to you by Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. My name is Aaron Duncan, and I start off every video by saying, what up, dude? And here on this channel, I give recap and analysis of the Panthers. And today, we are talking about the news after the first week of the preseason is in the books. We got a lot of stuff to recap, so make sure you guys stick around for the whole video and see my opinion on every topic and give me your opinion after everyone. You know, I'm all about the dialogue in the comments, so make sure you guys leave a comment down after every segment and topic that I talk about and let me know your thoughts. I'll be sure to respond to you, let you know how I feel about what you feel. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I do Panthers content, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way you don't miss any videos, because I do a lot of these recaps, news, analysis. I do live streams weekly. So if you don't want to miss anything and make sure you get a notification when I do these videos, make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell icon. All right, let's go. So we got a bunch of things to cover today, and the first thing that we're going to get into is the backup quarterback race. Of course, we saw the game yesterday. PJ Walker got the start against the Colts, and then Will Grier came in the second half. They split each half up equally. However, it wasn't equal, if that makes sense. The timing was equal in essence of quarter, or two apiece. But the play and the tempo of the game did not play out where both quarterbacks were able to get a fair shake. Now, I wouldn't be making a big deal out of this because obviously it's a number 2 quarterback position. We know all eyes are on Sam Darnold, but Matt Rhule, he took it upon himself to bench Sam Darnold because he did not want him to play with the 2s and the 3s. That's fine. We need to figure out who the quarterback 2 is, because according to that first depth chart that they released leading up to this game, there was no defined quarterback 2. There's no defined quarterback 3. He had both P.J. Walker and Will Grier as a slot 2. But the way this game played out, we weren't able to get a fair look at both, because we know P.J. Walker, he came in, was running around, slinging it, got to play with some of the better receivers on the team, Shot Smith, Terrace Marshall, David Moore, of course. But Will Grier, even though we are deep at the receiver position, he didn't get a chance to play with the 2s. He played with the 3s, and he really didn't have a ton of chemistry with those guys. The tempo and flow of the game was different. The Panthers had the lead most of the game. So by the time that Will Grier came in, Matt Rhule took it upon himself to change the game plan up and go more conservative in order to preserve a preseason win. This guy, Matt Rhule, sacrificed a chance to be able to see Will Grier, not just Will Grier, but other linemen that we want to see maybe pass block a little bit more. They sacrificed an opportunity to get a good look of these guys equally in order to try to win a preseason game, when reps and experience are really what matters. That's all he preached to us for the reasoning for wanting to bench the starters, because he wanted to give a chance to evaluate these guys before the cuts that are coming up. But he didn't give them a fair shake. Look at the numbers. P.J. Walker had over twice as many passing attempts as Will Grier. Will Grier only had 10. A lot of stuff was running the ball to try to bleed the clock. And the funny part is we ended up losing the game anyway. So you mean to tell me we went conservative in the second half in order to preserve a win, sacrificing the ability to give Will Grier a chance to show himself, and we lost anyway? What kind of sense does that make? Like, I wouldn't really be tripping over this, because a lot of people have mailed it in on Will Grier, and I pretty much think that it's a wrap for him here in Carolina, of course, because I don't think we're carrying 3 quarterbacks this year. But at the same time, this guy has not got a fair shake from day one. You know, rookie year, obviously he was behind Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke, and Cam Newton got hurt. He did get his chance in some crazy opportunity in the Falcons game. That was a disaster, obviously, with the turnovers that he had. But then that was the only chance he really got to play in the preseason that year. Last year, of course, his second year in the league, new coaching staff, but it was a COVID year. There was no offseason. There was no preseason. So in most of the season, Will Grier did not even get the dress out, because P.J. Walker was brought in, who was a Matt Rhule guy from Temple, and he was the second man up. Even when Teddy Bridgewater got hurt, P.J. Walker was the guy that went in and got the start. He did lead the team to victory against the Detroit Lions, but we haven't really got a chance to see a great body of work for Will Grier to truly evaluate. I think a lot of people are upset because Marty Hurney traded up to the 3rd round to take Will Grier, and this guy ended up being a bust. But the reason why he's a bust is mainly because, like I said, we don't even know what he can be. Like, it's almost impossible to write the book on Will Grier. The little time that he has had, he hasn't been great. I can't disagree with that. But the opportunity and the lack of opportunity, therefore, has really kind of hampered him. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what Will Grier could be just because he hasn't got the chance. You know, we haven't seen practice, so we don't know how they've competed. Maybe PJ is better, and from what it looks like, based off gameplay and action, Will Grier, PJ Walker is the better option over Will Grier. But it's kind of upsetting to see that Will Grier doesn't get a fair shake based off of just coaching wanting to try to win a meaningless preseason game. He's going to sacrifice quality reps over trying to get a win to make the team feel better, even though you didn't play your starters, and you ended up losing anyway. So that's really a head scratcher right there for Matt Rhule, and it really pissed me off kind of how they gave Will Grier it was kind of slighted per se. But another thing that happened there too is because all these penalties that happened, and Will Grier in his press conference after the game really shed some light on that. Let's see what he had to say.
Yeah, we practiced with crowd noise a lot. Like I said, I thought that he was going to be able to hear me, and he didn't. It's something we worked. Like I said, we didn't put the silent cadence in because we didn't think we needed it. I think everybody was on board with that. But we've definitely worked crowd noise. We were prepared for it. It was just one of those things that we kind of got caught with out there.
And as you guys know, did you hear what he said? There was no silent count. And they said he didn't expect them to put it in because they weren't expecting the crowd to be that loud. Funny. I know it's a COVID-ridden season and things are just not opening up and everybody's not at full capacity at every stadium. But for you to be caught off guard by the crowd noise, you to not have put in a silent count for those guys, especially after you stress, don't beat yourselves, don't get dumb penalties. If you get a false start, you got to run and test the DBO sign. How can you hold these players accountable and put them in the proper position to succeed if you don't even have it in the silent count to be able to rectify the situation of the crowd being too loud to the point that we got 3 false starts in a row? You know how embarrassing that is to have 3 false starts in a row? And 2 of those 3 were by the same player. That's crazy. But I bet you that he made them run to the DBO sign. Where do you put the DBO sign for the coaches for not putting them in the best position to be successful? That just doesn't make sense to me. And I get it. It's early in camp. You didn't think you would need it. But Will Grier said you guys practice crowd noise. So you practice crowd noise, but you didn't practice putting in a silent count just in case? It's starting to sound a little bit more believable when Teddy Bridgewater was talking about we didn't go over red zone all the time because we didn't put enough emphasis on it. A lot of people call Teddy a liar, but when you see different shortcomings like this on different procedure things and coaching aspects, stuff like what Teddy said starts to make sense. But I'm just going to sip my tea on that one. A bit of news, of course, is the top 100 players that came out for the NFL. The list was premiered after the Panthers game, and they did the first, 60 players? And coming in at number 44, which is probably going to be our only player on the list, was Christian McCaffrey. Now, you're probably on either side of the fence. You're probably saying that, oh, why is Christian McCaffrey so low at 44? This guy is arguably the best running back in the league when healthy. Or you may be on the other side and you're like, why is Christian McCaffrey on this list when he only played 3 games? That makes sense. You know, the NFL really has a weird way. Not a weird way. They do this on purpose. You know, everything the NFL does is on purpose. They blow stuff certain times, like they like PR-wise. They really blow opportunities when it comes to even like the Ray Rice, the things on domestic violence, the anthem and kneeling and stuff. They've had their shortcomings, but a lot of the stuff they do is on purpose. And for them to release this list during preseason, just a couple weeks before the regular season, just to ruffle people's feathers and create some narrative and to create some buzz and arguments, is crazy. And people are falling for it. Because why would you release a list 3 weeks before the season about last season, knowing that it's based on last season, just to get people up in arms and talking about it? And maybe it motivates players, maybe it doesn't, but it definitely gives the news and the media thing to talk about. And here I am talking about it. Look, it worked. But you guys don't fall for the trap. Quit falling for the trap. This list is based off last season, and if we're solely based on last season, I have to agree with the latter, that Christian McCaffrey only played 3 games. Why is he rated number 44? I don't understand. To me, he doesn't have a big enough body of work. He was great in those games, but he doesn't have a big enough body of work to be considered number 44 player in the league last year. I'm sure he'll be back up top 15, in my opinion, next year at least. So we'll see what happens. But you don't look into that list and don't fall for it, man, because when you don't have guys like Brian Burns on there or Robbie Anderson or DJ Moore, you kind of lose credibility in my eyes, but it's neither here nor there. So the Panthers took a day off after the preseason game, but they will be back at it. And this week, of course, they have one regular practice, and then the joint practices with the Baltimore Ravens begin leading up into the preseason game at home. The first home preseason game. It's an exciting time. But the thing that's kind of hampering up, the Panthers have announced that they will be moving Tuesday's practice from 8:30 in the morning, per usual, to 2:45 in the afternoon. And this is because Tropical Storm Fred, I don't know where they get these names from, but Tropical Storm Fred will be storming through the East Coast with Georgia and South Carolina. So there will be a ton of rain for the next 2 days. And Matt Rhule is probably trying to figure out a way to get on the back end of the storm to try to make sure you get a little bit of the easier part of the storm and to protect people from injuries. But the thing about it is moving Tuesday's practice to 2:45 creates a dilemma. The dilemma is that now they have different rounds of cuts. It's not just 2 rounds, it's 3 rounds. So the first round of cuts is Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So the deadline to have guys cut is Tuesday at 4 o'clock. How can you have practice on Tuesday at 2:45, but the deadline is at 4 o'clock? That means some players are going to be taking that midnight train going anywhere, if you catch my drift. Somebody's not going to be able to make it to that 2:45 practice. That's the only way to do it. Unless you plan on kicking 5 guys out of practice like you did JT eBay after he hit Keith Kirkwood. So it's going to be a little bit awkward tonight because there's going to be some phone calls probably before guys even get to practice. So it is what it is whenever you move that practice back. But I just thought that was a little bit funny on the timing of that. You know, I guess guys got to play in Sunday's game. Monday was off. Monday was the last impression these guys got to make before these cuts on these first rounds. So 5 guys will be gone. 5 more next week. And then the big time cuts to 53 will be coming up after that. But like I said, that midnight train going anywhere will be coming through Charlotte tonight. Don't miss your stop. Grab your ticket. And last but not least, guys, I gotta put out a trigger warning. I have to put out a trigger warning. If you are squeamish or have a weak stomach, please cover your eyes. Put away the women and children. Some footage surfaced today of Luke Kuechly at the Buffalo Bills practice wearing Buffalo Bills gear. And it really hurt my soul to see it. Like, it really hurt my feelings. I got in my feelings a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, if you're squeamish, this is hard to look at, guys. It's hard to look at. Because one of the greatest linebackers in NFL history, and of course in Panthers history, has left the Panthers, and he's now soon to be working for the Bills, maybe just visiting. But you don't just wear all that merchandise just if you're visiting. You don't give all these tips to these young guys that he's doing if you're just visiting. We know Luke Kuechly retired from this team, but he's still getting paid about $7 million, which is how retirement just works. He's counting $7 million against the cap. Luke Kuechly was employed as a scout on the team for a while. But, of course, it wasn't major news, but he left the team. Luke Kuechly left the team. He said he just wanted to go fishing in Montana. He wanted to be a regular guy. Football has been his life so long, he was just trying to figure out life after football. This guy's a smart guy. He went to Boston College. He's smart as hell. Wanted to figure out he can do anything he wants. He got out of the game, of course, because of the concussions. He wanted to preserve his brain because he's so smart. I don't fault him for getting out early. I hate to see him go. I cried in the closet, I'm not going to lie, when he retired. But seeing him leave the Panthers, pretty much saying that, hey, I don't want to really coach football right now, but then pop up with the Bills, seems to be coaching football, it's weird. You know, it's like when you're dating somebody, you know what I'm saying, a dating game, and they're like, hey, I don't really want a relationship right now. I don't want to da-da-da-da. I'm just trying to find myself and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really trying to get too serious. But then a couple months later, they pop up with somebody else, married, with kids, looking real serious, looking really like a relationship. It's not that they didn't want a relationship in general. They just didn't want a relationship with you. And I think Luke Kuechly getting out on his own terms, it's got to be a slap to the face to the organization, but it's definitely a punch to the gut to the fans. We've been hurt every offseason, it seems like, for veterans getting cut or leaving the program. From Cam Newton getting done dirty, to Thomas Davis getting cut, to Greg Olsen getting cut also, and now Luke Kuechly. And don't even get me started on Steve Smith. I didn't even bring him up because it seems like we've tried our best to mend that relationship now with him working for the Panthers so close. But it still hurts to see these vets get done dirty every year and probably line up in another kind of uniform. Whether it's Cam with the Patriots, Thomas Davis with the Chargers or the Redskins, the football team, or Greg Olsen in Seattle. It hurts to see this stuff. It hurts. But this is what happens when you have an organization that doesn't take care of the vets and the players that have helped build your young organization. The organization is only 27 years old. But you have guys that have given their heart and soul to this team for over 30 to 40% of your existence, but you treat them like crap. I can't even be mad at them for doing that. Because it's really kill or be killed. We know if you don't leave on your own terms like Luke did, you'll get done dirty like the rest of those other guys did. So shout out to Luke, man. I hope he enjoys retirement. He loves football. He's a football nut. We know he likes watching film, and he called the plays out when he played. You know he's a football junkie. He seems to be happy. I want him to be happy. I wish better for him than what the Panthers probably would have did for him anyway. Likely to be in the Hall of Fame first ballot. Likely to be in the Ring of Honor for Carolina one day. Salute to Luke Kuechly. Happy retirement. But without further ado, let me know down below in the comments how you feel about Luke switching sides. Do you think he's a traitor? Are you mad about him? Are you mad at the organization for setting this precedence that our vets have to move on like that? Let me know down below in the comments. And let me know how you feel about any other topic we talked about. But without further ado, my name is Aaron Duncan. Make sure you guys are subscribed to here, Unnecessary Bluntness, the channel, and put on that bell icon. That way you don't miss any videos. I'll see you next time. Peace.